Big Blue Nation, welcome back to episode 2 of the newly named Players First podcast. I'm Riley Welch. I'm a junior point guard on the roster, and I'm here today with someone who has just recently overtaken me for the newest Kentucky Wildcat men's basketball player, Ben Jordan. Ben,
Yep.
Pleasure to have you here. Thanks for coming on the show. How you feeling?
Feeling good. Just got out of class and good to have a little break.
Yeah, speaking of breaks, you don't get much of a break considering you're playing 2 Division I sports at the same time. And even though you guys aren't technically in baseball season right now, you guys start in, 3 months?
It starts in February. I think our first game's like February 14th.
And then you're in full swing. You're not going to get a break from basketball season to baseball season.
Nope, not much, but I signed up for it, so.
Yeah, no, we're really fortunate to have you as part of the roster. Ben is a really good guy, which all of you will get to see soon enough. But Ben, just kind of walk us through, how did it come up, the idea of you joining the basketball program? Obviously, we're a little thin in the front court, but was it Cal's idea going to your coach? Was someone going, just where did the idea come from? Because one day someone just said, have you met the new walk-on? And I said, what are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, we got the new big guy from the baseball team. I was like, really? And so it took me by surprise. So what was it like for you? When were you first approached with the idea?
Well, one day we had morning practice, and I was running out to the field, and Coach Mingione, our head coach, calls me over, and he's like, hey, Ben, I got to talk to you after practice. And I was like, oh.
That's never something you want to hear.
Yeah, I was like, what did I do? I was like, I haven't done anything. He's like, no. He's like, it's a good thing. He's like, I just don't want you thinking about it right now. And I was like, okay. So the whole practice, I was like, I wonder what he's talking about. So after practice was over, I grabbed my stuff. I was running back in. He's like, Ben, come over here. He's like, I want you to be open-minded right now. And then I was like, I have no idea what he's going to say. And he said, just keep an open mind. He's like, Coach Cal called me. And I was like, oh, well, baseball team's going to go out at halftime or something, something like that. They wanted me to dunk or something like that. And
we do want you to dunk.
He goes, he said they need somebody to practice with to go in there and guard Nick and EJ and stuff. And it was like, you will have a 2-week period. You have see if you like it, see how things are going. He's like, and if it works out well, he's like, you can be on the team and travel with them and stuff. And at first I thought he was kidding. I was like, nah. I was like, you're just kidding, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, I'm dead serious, and he's serious too. And the next day I go to practice and watch it, and then fast forward, here I am.
Yeah, no, so we just had our first exhibition game last night. How was that, just getting to come out first time in front of everyone at Rupp, dressed and suited up to play? Obviously, you didn't get in last night, but that's to be expected after a week of practice. But How was it just being a part, going through pregame warm-ups, going through a whole, a game in front of 20,000 people? That's, I think that's different than what you're used to as a baseball player, right?
Yeah. Growing up a Kentucky fan, I came to games my whole life, and just the atmosphere there, I've always loved it. And stepping out on the court and seeing everybody, it was honestly unreal, seeing everybody yelling and playing the songs they usually play and listen to, playing the video on the screen. I remember watching in the stands thinking this is the coolest thing ever, and being out in the court, it was honestly awesome.
And now you get to be a part of it, and with Nick going down, you never know what might happen in the next couple games.
Oh, man, I don't know.
Speaking of stars of last night's game, here walks in Ashton Hagens, who had a terrific showing last night. Ash, how you doing? We'll have Ash on soon enough. One of the best guys I've had the pleasure of being teammates with. But back to Ben, what were your thoughts on the game? How did you think we played? What was it like getting to see a high level college basketball game from 5 feet away?
Yeah, it was probably the closest I've been to a UK game, but. No, it was awesome. I thought the guys played great. It was really fun to watch. I think it's so exciting, the alley-oops and stuff and the fast breaks. I love it. Emmanuel played really good. I don't know. I was just trying to take it all in. It was awesome.
I agree. I was impressed by just how many guys contributed last night. Not everyone's playing their best right now, which is to be expected. We got a bunch of young kids. We're going to go through some growing pains, but we have a lot of talent and a lot of good kids who are buying into what Coach Cal is trying to get everyone to accomplish.
Yeah.
But shifting gears a little bit from last night, how has it been practicing and just going through? Because you're legitimately in practice. You're guarding Nick for about 2.5 hours every day. How's that been?
Honestly, I just think it's cool because going in there, I'm thinking I'm playing against a bunch of NBA players, so I think it's really fun. Nick's hit me with a couple elbows, a couple times. I mean, that wasn't too fun, but other than that, it's been fun.
Oh yeah. I think Nick's hit a few guys with some elbows.
Yeah.
I think EJ had to go get a new tooth.
Yeah, he's got me a couple times.
But
how's
it been? You haven't played basketball competitively in what, 3 years?
Yeah.
And now you're asked to battle, some of the best players in the country, and it's there's not much of a learning curve they're giving you. Like they're throwing you in the fire and asking you to contribute. How's that been?
I mean, it's been fun. I mean, I'm just trying to do what they ask me and do my part. I mean, I'm really not. I know I'm not going to be as near as talented scoring as these guys and stuff, but I'm just really trying to get in there and battle and make everybody better.
What was your game like in high school? Obviously, you were the all-time leading rebounder and shot blocker in your high school.
Yeah.
What was your game like back then, and why when you decided to pursue baseball only, were you disappointed that you weren't going to play basketball any longer, or did you always think maybe you'd come back to it, or just walk us through that a little bit?
Well, basketball was always it was fun for me because after a long year of baseball, I like to step away and clear my mind of the season, and by the time January rolled around, it was time for me to start throwing again because I would always take off from throwing in the fall. I was ready to go. I was refreshed. And basketball, I always loved basketball. I mean, it was something that me and my dad would always go to the gym, and we would shoot, and I would play with some of my best friends in high school, and we would have big crowds at our games, and they would cheer when we would dunk. And obviously there's not we'd have a lot of people around the region and baseball, like a regional tournament, but other than that, I mean, baseball is pretty low-key, but basketball is time for me to go out, and I could dunk and block shots, and it was exciting. So, I mean, that was pretty much my high school, was just dunking and blocking. That was about it, maybe a few oops here and there.
Speaking of your hometown, you've mentioned to me just the reaction and how much it's meant to people from your hometown, you joining the basketball program. Tell me about that. Tell me what it's been like.
My phone has been blowing up. It's been hard for me to talk to everybody, just all these text messages I've been getting, because when I say they are diehard fans, they literally bleed blue. Like, I remember the 38-0 year when they lost. It was to Wisconsin, right? Mm-hmm. Going to school the next day, people were crying, and a bunch of crazy stuff was happening. They were so upset, and just the fact when they found out I was on the team, everybody went nuts. I mean, they loved it.
I heard shirts were being made.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. I've got a few text messages.
Speaking of another star of last night's scrimmage, we got Emmanuel Quickly in here. He got us started off with, 4 3-pointers made last night? So we've spoken mostly up to this point about basketball, but your life's work up till this point mainly has been baseball. Yeah. So walk us through your journey from a high school pitcher who was projected to go possibly in the first round of the MLB draft to being a redshirt sophomore here at Kentucky, and what you've learned along the way.
Well, I mean, obviously I've worked my whole life towards baseball. It was always my priority. I started getting recruited early on in high school, around freshman year. I committed to Kentucky my junior year of high school. And then from there on out, it was just seeing how I could develop as a player. And obviously there was some interest from the draft. And my senior year, I tore my UCL. I got Tommy John surgery in May. And so the draft didn't work out for me. And I came here my summer, in summer school before the fall of my freshman year. And just been playing baseball and trying to get back ever since.
How is your injury healed? Are you back to where you were before the injury? How is it affecting you?
Oh yeah, it took a little while to get back because at first I had some growing pains, like I had some like arm soreness, and then after that went away, I had some command issues and stuff. And this summer was the first time actually playing like competitively, consistently. Because this spring, I mean, I would pitch every now and then, but it was just shaky. And, I mean, I wasn't consistent enough to be like a major part in the staff this year. So I got and played summer ball and I had a pretty good summer, just get things back going again, and I'm excited for the upcoming season.
How are you guys? How are you guys projected to be this year?
I don't know about the projections, but people have made crazy strides this year. Like last year, we lost, or the year before last, we lost a lot of players, and it was just also some more growing pains. There were some young players, a lot of talent, but like nobody was stepping up. A bunch of young guys. I mean, it's hard to come in the SEC and play as a young guy, no experience coming out of high school, and contribute. So we have a bunch of talent, a bunch of people developed, and I think we're gonna have a good season.
Speaking of baseball, you're now a two-sport athlete. How have you been able? It's only been what, maybe a week or two, right? But how has it been balancing both of that? Like that's incredibly difficult. Like I know you were telling us at practice, you know, we practice at I think 3, and you're like, oh, I've had such a long day. We started practice at 10, we got done at 1. So
Well, with me, they've been able to. It's been time consuming, but I haven't been able to stay the whole time at practice because obviously like the compliance rules. So a day I have like 1 hour dedicated to baseball and 3 to basketball. So throughout a day, I mean, you're allowed 4 hours a day of practice. So I mean, there's a lot of like moving and stuff, but it's just like when we scheduled our classes, you all scheduled to have practice in the evening. We had it for the morning, so I'll go straight from our practice to my classes, and then I'll end up being like a tad late for our practice, and then it's time consuming, but it's been fun. It's been a good 2 weeks.
how are you feeling about the Michigan State game?
Honestly, I'm just excited to go. I mean, to travel. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just excited to go and see the team and see them compete because I see how hard they work every day. That's what I tell everybody. Just you see, like you're like, oh, like you play basketball for Kentucky or something. It's awesome. But like I was like, I look around and see everybody works so hard here. I mean, they deserve everything they get.
And speaking of our teammates, how have your relationships with the guys grown? Were they what you expected? Have they been different? How do you feel you fit in?
Oh, honestly, it's been really nice. I mean, people welcome me with open arms. I mean, Coach Cal's been nice to me, and all you guys. I feel like I've made friends with you already, and I mean, even just expectations. I mean, I can imagine some other sport coming to baseball, and everybody just kind of being like, "What's going on?" Like, you don't play this sport. I mean, not saying that it would be a bad thing, but I mean, if a tennis player would come over to the baseball team, you'd be like, well, why is he playing baseball? And I was thinking everybody would be like, well, why is this guy playing basketball? But everybody's been so nice to me, and it's been really nice. It's been really fun to practice with everybody.
No, I think that's the one thing through this podcast, hope I can get across to the people that listen. It's just what good guys we have on this team. We have good guys who have kind hearts, and it's extremely funny and goofy.
Oh, it's hilarious in the locker room.
Oh, and when they start dancing, and I wish there were some of the things like we could show you guys, but this is not through video format, and I don't carry a camera around with me 24/7. But that's one of the things I've enjoyed the most since I've been here is just getting to experience and see what our guys are like. Obviously you watch them on CBS, you watch them on ESPN, and you're like, wow, those are amazing athletes, but they work for what they get, and as soon as they step off the court, they're just like any other.
They're just regular dudes.
Yeah, they're just like any other goofy 19 and 20-year-old. Oh man, yeah, we got some really good and fun guys on the team, and not only are the guys on the roster great guys, but I think we have just terrific people throughout our program.
Oh yeah.
We have great coaches. Our support staff is unbelievable. I don't know. That's the one thing I can really say I'm thankful for since being here is just how well everyone treats each other and has treated me.
Yep.
So as a pitcher, you are out on the mound, completely isolated by yourself. You know, when Coach Cal gave us those books, he talked about reading "Stillness is the Key" by Ryan Holiday, which I actually am reading, even though even I was reading that before Coach Cal gave us the book. But he told you that would be a good book for you to read. Do you have what goes through your mind when you're out on the mound, and do you have any process that you go through to clear your mind and focus on what you need to control?
Honestly, it's just like our coaches now like really focus on mental toughness, because when you're out there, and baseball is a game where you can be doing your job and lots of things can't go your way with like, I mean, you can throw a good pitch and somebody gets a hit or errors or the umpire. There's a bunch of things that you can't control, and that's like their main thing is control the controllables. So when things will go your way, you have to step off, clear your mind, and it's like basketball, they're a lot of the same, but it's a lot of different because like at that time, like the ball's in your hand, you control the game, so you have to be very focused on what you're doing. You have to be very deliberate. You got to be able to, like, if things don't go your way, you have to be able to reset and just clear yourself to continue to play your best game at that point, no matter what's happening.
That actually sounds pretty much exactly what the book talks about. I don't know if you've read it yet.
Yeah, I haven't really had a chance to, but
but no, the book that's Ryan Holiday's a Stoic author, and which is a philosophy that I spend a lot of time reading about. And the things you just talked about with your coach are a lot of the same core principles that Stoicism has. That, you know, there's going to be things that happen to us in life, and we can't control that. You know, whether an umpire calls a ball or a strike is out of your control.
Yeah.
All you can do is throw a good pitch.
Yeah.
And then bouncing back, you know, if he calls a strike and I threw a good pitch, all right, what's the next thing I do? You know, if I thought I threw a good pitch, but he called the ball, all right, what's the next thing I can focus on and control?
Yeah, for sure.
And so I think that not only in sports, but I think that kind of emulates through all aspects of life. You know, you think you write a good paper and your teacher doesn't, you get a bad grade.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot you can do about that.
There's a lot of things that can happen that you don't have control over.
What life lessons have you taken through sports? Like, you've dealt with a lot of adversity, a lot of changes, especially now joining the basketball team. What has there been anything you would say, yeah, playing sports has helped me realize this about myself and about life?
Well, I've probably two things. One's anything can change at any time, which I've had a lot of change. I mean, if somebody would have told me 2 years ago that I'd be on the basketball team, I'd be like, well, you've lost your mind. And two is just that, I mean, you got to work hard if you want to do anything. It's really taught me discipline playing sports, and if you work hard, then you'll give yourself the best opportunity to succeed in life.
I can't remember who said this quote, but the quote is, "Success is when preparation meets opportunity."
Yeah.
And I think that's very indicative of your current situation, where you have this awesome opportunity and you've worked really hard your whole life. And although you haven't been focusing on basketball the last 3 years, you played it throughout high school. You know, you're still an elite athlete, and so it's easy to transition, and good things happen to good people. Now, one of the craziest things about joining the Kentucky basketball team, I'd have to say, is what it does to your social media. So talk to me about how that's been since they announced it at the blue-white game.
I thought my phone was going to explode when the basketball account posted the picture, because I really didn't tell anybody because I didn't know if it was going to be official or not. And when it did, I was in shell shock, let alone everybody else they had no idea about it. They had no time to prepare. I thought he's playing baseball. People were asking, did you quit baseball? Or how did this happen? What's going on? Is this half the people thought it was a joke? Like, everybody was like chuckling like that. Oh, this is funny. Like, yeah, he's playing basketball. He's tall, but no, it's been eventful for sure.
Yeah. Did you get to read any of the comments on the social media posts?
I tried not to.
Yeah, that was the most fun thing for me, is when they announced that I was joining the program. I think someone was like, "Who is this equipment manager?" I was like, "Oh, that's fair. That's fair." I did play Division I basketball before, though. Kind of hurt my feelings, but we're moving on. How's your relationship with Coach Calvin?
Honestly, it's been really good. I mean, getting to come into practice every day, it kind of still hits me weird. Like, I'm listening to Coach Cal talk, and I'm thinking, I'm listening to a Hall of Fame coach right now talk. I mean, just like even though like it may not be like what I'm trying to pursue, like his basketball, but like the lessons he gives and stuff is like it's still really cool to listen to. I mean, I can be able to translate all over the stuff. He talks about hard work and like practicing like you're trying to play and like pushing yourselves and like the books he's trying to get us to read and the message he's trying to give out. Like it'll translate over to hopefully the baseball field. Yeah.
Is there anything you've heard Coach Cal say or how he acts that surprised you in relation to like what you thought he was? Like before 2 weeks ago, you were kind of not on the outside looking in, but just the athletic programs don't, we don't deal with each other a lot. Like I don't know who the baseball coach is. I've never met him. I've never met, the volleyball coach, and they share a building with us. What's it like getting to actually know Cal compared to what your thoughts about, like what you just thought about him was watching him on TV and listening to his interviews?
Well, I mean, obviously, just growing up, I mean, I've always been a fan and kept up with it, but like I don't think people realize what like a genuine, good-hearted person he is. Like that's what really not really surprised me, but like what really stood out to me was the fact that how much he cares about his players and like how genuine of a person is. I mean, it's been fun to be a part of it, honestly.
And that's another thing I'd piggyback on is he really does care about us personally. He coaches guys very hard during games and during practice, but he's not coaching them hard just, because he enjoys coaching people hard. He's doing it because,
get the best out of everybody.
Exactly. And what these guys want to accomplish is they want to have, good, successful professional basketball careers.
Yeah.
And at the next level, people aren't worried about you. They're worried about winning games. And so if you can't help them win games, they're just going to move on from you.
Yeah.
And so, he's investing in the guys that he's recruited to be here. And, we only carry 10, 11 scholarship guys, and that's for a reason because he cares so much about the guys he brings in that he wants them to have the best experience possible.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, no, that's another thing I've noticed about Coach Cal is, when I first got here, he, asked the team, checked on me. He just wants everyone to enjoy their experience and get better and accomplish what they want to accomplish.
Sure.
Off the court, in what limited free time you have now, is like, tell us a little bit more about yourself. What are your interests? What do you like to do?
I love to fish. Me and my dad were like this summer, as soon as baseball ended, we went to Michigan and we went on a fishing trip for a couple of days. So I love to fish. I play the guitar.
Okay. What's your best song?
I don't know. I have a lot. The guys in the house get mad at me because whenever they start irritating me, I go plug up my electric guitar and turn the amp up really loud. It shakes the house, so it's kind of funny.
What else? Do you like to read? Do you like to write?
I don't necessarily like to read. If I'm interested in something, I'll read it. I'm really into a Netflix series called The Blacklist.
Oh, yeah. I love that show. Great show.
I love it. Season 7's out, but
is that the new season?
Mm-hmm.
When did it release?
Like a couple weeks ago, but we're not watching it all the way because I started just the series last year, and so like it was all on Netflix, no commercials, and I'd binge watch it all. Yeah. But like now, like only one episode comes out for a week, so if I'd watch one, it would irritate me, and plus there's commercials, so I'm gonna wait till it's all out and then watch it all at once.
On Netflix, it's worse. Besides watching TV and fishing, what was it like growing up in Kentucky, and what's it mean to you getting to represent the state as the basketball program in the state as a hometown kid?
Honestly, it's every kid's dream. Like where I'm from, everybody plays basketball and everybody is wearing like UK Wildcats shirt. I mean, honestly, it's an honor for me to have the opportunity to play baseball and basketball here.
Who are your favorite players? Like, who did you love watching? Who were you like, man, like if I got a chance to meet him or go out to dinner with him, like that'd be awesome.
Honestly, I didn't really have a favorite player, but my favorite year was probably like Coach Cal's first year with John Wall and them because they struggled for a couple years. Then he came in and we have this crazy recruiting class. John Wall is doing his dance and Blue Madness. It was crazy. And Darius Miller, he was pretty close where I was from, so I was a big fan of him. I was a fan of Patrick Patterson and DeMarcus Cousins. I really liked the whole group.
Mm-hmm. No, that was a special team. A lot of guys who are still having very productive NBA careers. Darius Miller, unfortunately, he's injured right now. Same with DeMarcus. But
Yeah.
my dad's coaching Patrick, and he had a tremendous start to the season. Unfortunately, John's injured as well.
Yeah.
And Eric's
so.
playing, having a great
Yeah.
great stint with Milwaukee. So,
Yeah.
no, that team, yeah, that was a pretty special team. That was a good team to watch. I grew up in Colorado, and I remember how much hype and excitement there was about that team.
For sure.
And listening to John Wall by Troop 41
yeah. Yeah.
on repeat.
That was on my playlist too.
How many, like you said, you got to come to a few games growing up. Is there any that stuck out to you that were like, wow, that was fun to watch?
I'm trying to think. I've been to a couple Louisville games. Those were always pretty intense. I think my favorite thing to come to every year though was Big Blue Madness. Like you get to meet the players and they're doing all the dunks and stuff. That was always my favorite thing to come to. I thought it was sweet.
Isn't it kind of? It's got to be kind of surreal. You talked about getting to meet the players at Big Blue Madness, and now next year you're going to be one of the people that's being, and you're going to have little kids saying, "Oh, I got to meet Ben Jordan." Like, not that people weren't already thinking about you in that way because of your baseball talent, but it's just it's different with the basketball program.
Yeah, for sure. It's a bigger fan base, but it's still hard to think about. I mean, it doesn't seem real, but it's been fun.
Back to baseball a little bit. Who do you try and model your game after? Is there a specific pitcher or player you wanted to try and emulate?
No, not really. I watch like a lot of pitchers to see what they do. Like I study the game a lot on my phone. I probably do a little too much, but like I have this app on my phone where you can like compare pitchers. So I like compare someone to myself and just like trying to learn, see how they hold pitches, just like mess around with stuff, just see what I can change to make myself a little better.
Have you been watching the World Series that's going on right now?
I have a little bit. It's been a busy week, so I haven't been able to watch as much as I've liked.
Who are the best pitchers in that series?
Garrett Cole, he's really good. For the Astros, Justin Verlander, obviously. Max Scherzer, he's really good. Steven Strasburg. So I mean, it's a very intense pitching matchup.
Yeah, Justin Verlander lives a good life.
Yeah, he does.
We do too, fortunately. So no complaints here. I'm
little better for him, but I can't complain.
Who do you think ends up winning that series?
I don't know, honestly, because tournament time, just things can happen at any moment. I really don't know.
Kind of like you said, baseball and basketball are such different games. Kind of compare and contrast the mentality of the game day experience between baseball and basketball. Because from what I've talked to, like I have a friend who plays Division I baseball at Miami of Ohio, and he kind of talks about just how relaxed baseball is during, because they're long games. There's, you play more often, and so it's kind of more late. Obviously, it's competitive and serious, but it's a little bit more laid back. How do you view the differences between the two?
Well, in basketball, like when you step on the floor, like adrenaline takes over, like the crowd's cheering. It's like so fast paced, so like you don't have time to think. But like we played at LSU this year, and then like with 10,000 people just staring at you when you're on the mound, and like there's adrenaline going, but it's not like you're like running up to like dunk a ball or something. When everybody's staring at you, it's just, I don't know, it seems more pressure filled. It always did, but it may just be because I've always been so like stuck on baseball. Like I'm not saying it's easier, but it's just different. Like the atmosphere is just like the adrenaline kicking in a basketball game there's nothing like it. But with baseball, like it's not the same adrenaline.
No, but like you said, there's not really times in basketball where when you have the ball in front of 10,000 people in a baseball stadium and you're the pitcher, for at least the first half of the action, everyone is pretty much solely focused on you. That's kind of got to be a little unnerving.
So it's something like if you do something bad in baseball, like you have plenty of time to sit and think about it. If you like, say your air ball is shot in basketball or something, you got to run back down and start guarding at the end. So like you have to have like a quick mind. You got to have a quick mind for baseball too, but it seems like it's a lot harder to move on from baseball in that. But obviously I'm not out there in a game yet actually playing, so I can't say much about it.
What's your walk-up song?
Um, I don't know. Last year, I honestly forgot what it was, but they never wanted to play it, so they never played it.
What if you could pick one song to play on the guitar for us? What would it be?
Put me on the spot. I don't know. I just like songs that sound cool on there.
Who are some of your favorite, just like in general, who are some of your favorite artists or bands to play?
If I'm playing the guitar, I usually play like old rock and stuff like that, just because like it has like good riffs and it's fun to play. Like I like country music, but like I don't like playing on the guitar just because it's like slow and like it's just chords. I like to do riffs, like moving up and down the guitar to make it. I mean, stuff that sounds cool.
Makes sense. Last thing I'll talk to you about is how are the facilities? How are to the basketball facilities compared to the baseball facilities? Because I honestly have no idea. I'm new here. I haven't seen the baseball stadium, the baseball facilities, but I know how fortunate we are in the basketball program to have just everything so convenient and so nice. We're so well taken care of. Is it the same way with the baseball program?
Yeah, it is. Honestly, we just got a new field and everything is top notch. Like, I mean, everything in there is unreal. I mean, the facilities are off the charts. It honestly is. They're both really nice, but like the baseball is a really nice setup too.
Well, you'll have to start a baseball podcast and bring me over there, and I'll join the baseball team.
You'll be the first one on it.
All right. Well, Ben, is there anything else you'd like to say to Big Blue Nation who's listening?
Go Cats, I guess.
Ben, appreciate you coming on. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, man.
If you're part of Big Blue Nation, then you need to watch Big Blue Nation.
10-5, touchdown, Kentucky!
BBN TV on the UK Sports Network takes you inside the program every weekend for conversations and access you won't find anywhere else.
What's coming late? Cash Daniel hits him and sacks him!
BBN TV is the official TV show of UK Athletics and is the newest and best way to keep up with the Cats. Watch BBN TV every weekend on the UK Sports Network or anytime online at ukathletics.com or the Kentucky Wildcats Facebook page.